Professional combat sport athletes are a different breed entirely. They're the mavericks and nonconformists among us, those who refuse the norms of society and instead pursue an occupation laced with danger, pain, and sacrifice. But even these renegades need to follow a strict set of rules when they step into the ring. Boxing, after all, isn't entirely without structure. And among a rulebook written to protect fighters and deliver a fair contest, there are some regulations even the most educated of fight fans may not be familiar with. Get comfortable and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, as we explore some of the most obscure and unusual rules in boxing. Brought to you by Fight Loco. It's the moment that always arouses excitement among spectators. A flash of hands and suddenly, a fighter is sprawled out on the canvas. That signals the start of the referee's 10 count towards a knockout or technical knockout victory. Nothing unusual here. But in one unique circumstance, referees are required to extend their count to 20 when a fighter is knocked out of the ring. It happened when Amir Imam delivered Jared Robinson to the VIP seats in 2014, and when Lee Wood put Michael Conlon through the ropes in March 2022. It even happened to the legendary Jack Dempsey during his fight with Luis Firpo way back in 1923. Not only are referees in the modern age required to give a 20 count should this strange event occur, but fighters must re-enter the ring unaided by their coaches or spectators. As if the embarrassment of being punched out of the ring wasn't bad enough. Next up, beards. That's right. One man's choice of face fashion is another man's breach of boxing regulation. As bizarre as it seems, certain amateur and professional boxing organizations state limits on the length of beard a fighter can sport when they enter the ring. According to some organizations, a beard is only deemed acceptable if the fighter's jawline is visible underneath their facial hair. Meanwhile, Team USA rules for Masters boxing events allow mustaches and neatly trimmed beards of less than 2 inches in length. The International Olympic Committee goes one step further, requiring all fighters to be completely clean-shaven. Why the war on beards? 2 reasons, chiefly. First, a longer beard is considered bushy enough to cushion the blow of punches when landed, creating an unfair advantage. Second, rough stubble can be dangerous when it rubs on the cuts of an opponent in a clinch. Strange it may be, but the biggest names in the sport have fallen foul of this unusual regulation. Canelo Alvarez was reportedly urged to trim his distinctive orange beard in the run-up to his first encounter with Gennady Golovkin in 2017. And the Gypsy King himself, Tyson Fury, clashed with the British Boxing Board of Control over his beard length before the heavyweight's 2014 bout with Derek Chisora. A hairy situation indeed. The great Bruce Lee once said that, "Showing off is the fool's idea of glory." That's hard to argue, but in British boxing regulations, excessive showboating is also deemed a minor foul. This obscure rule hasn't deterred fighters in Britain from bringing a little flair into the ring to get under the skin of their opponents. Legendary featherweight world champion Prince Nazim Hamed was a fan favorite equally for his supreme skills and his showmanship on fight night. And who could forget Sam Maxwell's satisfying knockout to Sabri Sadiri after enduring 10 rounds of mockery on his home soil? It seems a line can be crossed, however, if referees consider a fighter to be acting outside the spirit of the sport. Cocksure pugilists beware. Boxing referees have their limits. It might seem unwise to spit out your mouthguard in a sport that involves being repeatedly punched in the face. Some boxers do exactly that on purpose, using it as a tactic to buy extra recovery time when under pressure. Remember Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz Jr. in that famous 7th round at Madison Square Garden? The British heavyweight was seen spitting out his mouthguard as he suffered one of the most shocking defeats in boxing history. The act caused referee Michael Griffin to ask the fighter if he was okay to continue, seeing it as a sign of a boxer whose mental and physical faculties were quickly abandoning him. Referee Griffin put an end to the bout soon after, but repeated mouthguard offenses could have landed Joshua a foul and possibly a point deduction. Food for thought, fight fans. Should you ever step into the ring, be sure not to fall foul of these obscure boxing rules. Like what you saw? Smash the like and subscribe buttons to let us know.